You're listening to Pombo and Peter's Picks, the home of your favorite sports betting podcast. Presented by The Daily Goat.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Pombo and Peter's Picks. I'm Jason Pombo, joined as always by Peter Alves. Peter, happy week one of the NFL season. It's like Christmas morning.
Oh my God, week one NFL season starts today. Chiefs, Lions. Here we go.
Yes. You excited?
I'm excited. I'm pretty excited, not gonna lie. We got division bets already in. We got stuff. Rick to you, by the way. I was gonna put that money on the Bengals. Can't happen though.
Oh, I apologize. For my college
Uh,
football parlays.
it's fine. It's only $30. It's all good.
Did you see that night was a whirlwind? I was out watching the game. I was with Noah of Rough in the Basket, watching all the games. And what was it? Penn State covered, right? And I was like, oh my God, I'm good. We're good. And then South Carolina just refused to score points and
Yeah, facts.
they just couldn't score. And then the other one, we're going to talk about Colorado shortly, but that one blew that one up.
Well, I don't even. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, what are you going to do?
After the second drive, I was like, all right, well, it's probably dead.
Well, I don't think I'll have a college football parlay this week, though. I don't know. Might be for
I'm
the
an
NFL.
NFL one. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to. I was hoping that the college football parlay would give us some extra for the week one, but did not happen.
That's all right. I'll reload like $30 or whatever. It's
Yep.
fine.
You hit the reload button and we're ready to go. But football is back, Peter. As you said off the top, Kansas City Chiefs are hosting the Detroit Lions. Chiefs are going to raise in their Super Bowl banner. And look, we're ready to go. We got some primetime games this week. We have some, in my opinion, a very good slate of football this week. I'm looking forward to it all. But before we get into some NFL stuff, I want to start with college football because that seemed like the talking point of the weekend. There was a lot of stuff that went down, but the most important thing that went down was Deion freaking Sanders and his Colorado. What are they? Colorado. I don't even know what their mascot is. What are they? Boulders? What are they? Colorado. Buffalo. That's what it is. So Colorado, Deion Sanders, they came in as 21-point underdogs to TCU. TCU was in the national championship game last year, and Colorado pulled off an upset. They won that game. It was a back and forth game. And it comes after a couple weeks ago, we had Brandon Carr on of Rough in the Basket, and we pretty much bashed Colorado. And we said, look, bet the under on their win totals. They're going to win 3 games. And as it currently stands, as we record this podcast, Colorado is the 22nd ranked team in college football. They are ranked now after that win against TCU. So, Peter, are you buying into the hype?
Not really. I mean, they didn't play a lick of defense. Their quarterback Sanders is pretty good. I mean, 510 passing yards. That's nothing to shy away from. Travis Hunter might be a great two-way player, just like Deion Sanders. But their schedule is really, really rough, and I'm not gonna get off the hill. I don't know about you. After one game, their schedule is an absolute slogfest. Good for them to win the first game, but they won one game last year, didn't they?
They did, yes. They went 1-11 last year. I'm not buying in either. It was a great win for them. They had their stars show up. Offensively, they seemed like a juggernaut. Sanders' son played extremely well, and Travis Hunter is an intriguing prospect for a number of different reasons. He caught 11 balls, over 100 receiving yards, and then you also had an interception on the defensive side. So is that kind of play sustainable? Like you mentioned, the schedule, they have USC coming up. I believe this week they have Nebraska. I know Nebraska's coming off a loss, but Matt Rule, he's a head coach that knows what he's doing. And is Colorado going to be able to go 2-0? Ironically enough, Peter, heading into last week, the books, right, in Vegas, they had Colorado as 6-point underdogs for this upcoming game against Nebraska. They're now 6-point favorites. It's been a complete 12-point swing for that.
That's bet on Nebraska then?
Nebraska's a bunch of chokers, so I'm not touching that game personally. But I said the under in terms of their win total before. I'd probably want to walk that comment back a little bit, but I'm not saying they're going to be Pac-12 champions and fighting for a college football playoff appearance. I think they're probably going to finish between 5 and 6 wins. That I changed. Before I said 3 to 4 wins. Now I'm going to give them 5.
Their thing was what, 5.5, 4.5?
Oh, I think it's 3.5 or something.
Oh, it was 3, huh? Right,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I think they're
Them
going to
though.
win.
Good for them.
Yeah. No, it's a good story. Dion, it's an unorthodox approach, and he's absolutely done a phenomenal job to this point. Look, going from Jackson State to Colorado is a monumental jump. And look, he had some buy-in. They had a great offensive scheme. And look, I think they can win 5 to 6 games. That's where I'm going to put it. I'm not buying into them that much, but I'm buying enough into them that they're going to be better than I anticipated. I'm willing to kind of walk that comment back because I thought they were going to go like 4-8, 3-9. Now I think they go 5-7 or 6-6, which would be a huge win after that 1-win season last year to potentially be in a bowl game. Like, you got to tip your hat to that.
True. And then Hunter's Heisman odds just like shot up
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever. So
all their odds
good
went
for
up.
all of them. Yeah,
Yeah,
good for all.
it's good for the sport. I think Deion Sanders is good for the sport because look, he's kind of looked like before I said he's unorthodox. He kind of just burst onto the coaching scene a couple years ago, and if he can compete with the Nick Sabans of the world and the Kirby Smarts, I think that's going to be really intriguing for college football because we all know Deion Sanders is a polarizing figure. He's somebody that kids probably want to play for. He's someone that can rile a team up, and he's done a great job so far. We'll see what happens. Now, if they lose 49-3 next week against Nebraska, does that all go out the window? Maybe. But I think they're probably going to compete for Nebraska, and that's a 50-50 game in my opinion. I wouldn't bet on it personally.
I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah, good luck with that. All right, other college football talking point I want to talk about was Clemson and Dabo Sweeney, right? Clemson coming in, they were the 9th-ranked team in the country. They were heading to Duke for their opening week. They actually had the Sunday night football game. And look, it was a primetime game. Clemson has that 5-star quarterback. Was he your Heisman pick?
Yep.
He was, I believe. Yeah, he was. So
Yep.
he was. Yeah, I thought so. And Clemson, I think, was 12.5-point favorites in that game. Might even been 13.5. They were substantial favorites. And when you look at how things kind of broke down, people were picking Clemson to make the college football playoff. I think Carr did, or it might have been you.
Yep.
Was it both of you?
It was me for sure. No,
You
I
for
think he
sure.
had Penn State.
You had Penn State. Yeah, you had Clemson.
Yeah.
And they completely got blown out by Duke. I felt bad for the people that were on the over because that was nowhere close, but Clemson got destroyed by Duke, losing 28-7. They were outscored in the second half 22-7. So Clemson fell from being the 9th-ranked team in the country to number 25. So Deion Sanders and crew is ahead of Dabo Sweeney and Clemson. So this is going to bring up my take here is Dabo Sweeney overrated? He has got a couple national championships under his belt with, of course, Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson. When he's had that excellent quarterback play, he's been able to really show out. But when that hasn't happened, it hasn't been looking good for him, and I think his stock has went a little bit south. But what are your take on Dabo Sweeney?
Yeah, maybe he's a little overrated. Maybe he's like Zach Taylor, where just luck with Trevor Lawrence and then obviously Deshaun Watson just like fell into his lap, and then obviously they're good now. And hand up, I probably cursed and mushed the Clemson, so it's probably all on me. I should have picked Florida State as my number 4. That's what I was gonna do before the podcast, and then I was like, oh, Clemson's actually pretty good.
Oh,
But yeah, I bet Clemson minus 12.5 or whatever it was. So there you go.
oh,
Yeah, there you go.
oh.
And yeah, I mean Clemson, get out of my face if your defense kind of showed up, but it's Duke. Like that's a basketball school. He only scored 7 points. I saw a stat. It's like the worst offense under the Dabo Sweeney era or whatever versus an unranked team. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, this was look. Well, I think Dabo Sweeney is a little overrated, but look, despite the fact that he's had a couple down years, look, last year he was 11-3. The year before he was 10-3. The year before that he was 10-2. So I'm not saying he sucks by any stretch of the imagination. In my opinion, he's still a top 5 to 7-ish coach in college football. But I do think there is a substantial, I would call it, I guess, a bridge before. Look, if I were to rank the college football coaches, it would, in my opinion, I'd probably go Nick Saban, Jim Harbaugh, Kirby Smart, Lane Kiffin. I'm not Lane Kiffin. I'm sorry. USC. His name's escaping me.
Oh, oh my,
Lincoln Riley. Sorry, Lincoln Riley.
There you go.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley, and then I'd probably put Dabo at 5. Now I know Dabo has the hardware, and look, I'm just saying in a vacuum in the year 2023. I just don't think Clemson is going to be the offensive juggernaut that they were in years past, where they would go undefeated. I think they're kind of going to be a 2 to 3 loss team for the next couple of years. I just think that's kind of how it's going to shake out. And is that overrated by some stretch? Maybe, because there was a time where people said he'd be better than Saban, or he was better than Saban, and I don't think that's the case now. I don't.
Yeah, good job, Clemson.
So
Out of my face.
rip to the Clemson ticket if you had one.
I did not have one. Thank God.
I mean, look, it's not out of the stretch of the imagination for them to get in the college football playoff, but they would have to pretty much play perfect
run the
football for
table?
the remainder of the season. Yeah,
Run
they
the
can run the
table?
table, but I don't think they're going to do it. I wouldn't bet them to do it. Would you?
Absolutely not. As of now. Ask me in 3 weeks.
As of now, yeah. You agreed. Let me look at their schedule really quick. So they have the next difficult game they have is Florida State, Saturday, September 23rd. That'll be a good one. And they also got to play Notre Dame, North Carolina. South Carolina is a tough game. So they have 4 or 5 tough games in there. Yeah, I think they end up with 10-2. They probably get another loss in there. They probably lose to Florida State. And maybe they split against North Carolina and Notre Dame. So maybe it's 3 losses. So I don't know. Dabo Swinney, I do think his stock has taken a little bit of a hit this year already.
You gonna get fired? No, right?
I don't think so. No. I just think, like, for example, I think Ohio State's coach, Ryan Day, that's a little bit different. The record might be the same as Clemson, but I think the expectations was a little higher. I think that's ultimately why Dabo sticks around, because he is a draw. You know what I mean? And
sure.
he has done a pretty good job recruiting quarterbacks, clearly.
Not this one, though. Oh, probably I'm much him too. Not gonna lie. It's all right.
I mean, it's too early for this one, in my opinion. But Trevor Lawrence was a unicorn. Deshaun Watson was a unicorn. So, hey, see what shakes out, right? All right. So, last thing in college football I want to talk about is another coach, and we were just talking about Florida State, is LSU. LSU entered this week's game against Florida State as what? 2.5-point favorites? I think.
Yes.
I think they were 2.5-point favorites. The game was in Orlando. So it was sort of like, I guess it was like a neutral field, whatever you want to call it, obviously closer to Florida State, but nonetheless. And LSU and Brian Kelly, I think they came in as the 5th ranked team in the nation, and Florida State was 8. And LSU got completely pantsed in the second half of that game. Brian Kelly was out coached, and they ended up getting their first loss after it ended pretty positively for LSU last year. They start this year poorly. They lost 45-24 to Florida State, and they were outscored in the second half 31-7.
Yeah, they got destroyed 3rd quarter. There were no show. 4th quarter, obviously a no show again. Jordan Travis for Florida State was amazing. I don't really know how to judge a solid quarterback because like they usually throw like 500 yards per thing. But like Keon Coleman, I think he got like 3 touchdowns, didn't he?
Something like that. Travis, in my opinion, the first half he was a little inconsistent, but in the second half I thought he was really, really good. Maybe it just took him a little bit to get comfortable, but his stat line looked really good. And I believe he was the number 1 recruit last year in the country, if I remember correctly. And look, he's somebody that people clearly think highly of. And look, it was a great opening showcase for him. Young kid, and Florida State does have some high expectations now, especially after Clemson lost. You know, because now it looks they're the odds-on favorite, and they should be right on the knocking on the door for a college football playoff appearance. So, in Florida State, look, I can never trust Florida State. They always feel like they let people down.
Oh, they do right at the end. Yeah, for sure.
We'll see. I'm going to look up their schedule quick. I'm sure they have like a Week 10 game against, I don't even know, somebody.
They play Penn State, I think, or something.
So this week they are, all right. They got to play Clemson, like we said before. They have to play Florida. They got to play Duke. They got to play University of Miami. So, like, it's not a terrible schedule. I mean, the Clemson game is going to be tough. If they can buy the Clemson game, they could be in a.
I think we're on the table.
They could, but the Clemson games, I think it's at home, so that should give them a little bit of an edge.
I don't think. No, it's not at home.
Oh, it's in
Well,
Clemson?
yeah.
Okay, so that might make things a little bit different then. But we'll see. That's a couple weeks away. To LSU anyway with Brian Kelly. He's somebody that moved to he moved on from Notre Dame, took this LSU job. A lot of people complained about the fit. They didn't think he was a real SEC coach and he would be able to get the recruits and do a good enough job. I think Brian Kelly is a great coach, but this was a really bad loss. The team kind of quit, and he was calling his own shot in pregame. He said, like, we're going to kick their ass, and
Oh yeah, we're gonna win by
went into
20 or
detail
something.
about that. Yeah, we're going to win by 20, and that clearly wasn't the case. He lost by 20. So do you think Brian Kelly's going to last at LSU? I know it's very early and very premature. They gave him a lot of money, and they are going to see it through.
Yeah, I don't know. They'll see it through. Their schedule's a log jam though. Mississippi, Auburn, obviously Alabama, Texas A&M, if you believe in them. I don't, but the log jam will
They're
probably
going
be
to lose
lost for
at least
LSU
three,
again.
4 games. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They should have showed up better than Florida State. So
Oh, they should have. I thought LSU was like a dark, dark horse for a college football playoff appearance. If a couple things went their way and maybe they got a couple lucky breaks, and I don't think that's going to be the case, especially after that. Basically quit. So I'm out on them as well. Any other college football takes, Peter? Anyone you
so
like for week 2?
I didn't know that UMass Amherst was a Division I school. B, I don't know they're 34-point underdogs. I was with the Hannah's family. And they're all Auburn fans. They're like, "Oh my God, we're facing your college team." I was like, "Boston College?" They're like, "No, UMass of like Massachusetts, University of Massachusetts." I'm like, "What the hell?" So I texted you, are they gonna win? And then you told me they won 3 times in 4 years. And when they got absolutely smoked, I got 3 phone calls from 3 different topic family members, and they're like, "What's wrong with your college football team?" I'm like, "Bro, we don't do college football."
And they're playing an SEC school. Like, what do you want them to do? I mean, they won in week 1, which was a great game against New Mexico State. So look, it's Boston College lost this week too. So college football is not our thing up here in the North. That's for sure. But one game that I think is going to be fun for next week, other than, of course, Nebraska, Colorado, I was also wrong. The line is 3.5, -3.5 for Colorado. I thought it was higher than that. But Alabama, Texas is this week. Last year, Texas upset Alabama. It was a
Oh,
crazy
that's
game.
right. That's right.
And I'm expecting a shootout for this one as well. Alabama, I think, is ranked. What is Alabama ranked? 3,
3.
and Texas is 11. That sounds right, I think.
I know
Something,
Alabama's
something
3.
like that.
Uh,
Yeah, I
Huh.
think so. And or is that this is unless I get it wrong and it's week 3. Did I bug?
No, that's
I
week
thought
2.
it's week 2,
Saturday.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. 100%. I was looking at it on the schedule here and I couldn't find it. I was like, what the hell is it? But I do see it, Peter. Uh Another good game that I probably like this week is, I mean, there's a couple decent ones, but if you're a hardcore like college football fan, uh, you're gonna probably like, this is kind of a random game, but Ole Miss Tulane, Ole Miss 20, Tulane 24. So that should be interesting. But yeah, it's Alabama Texas. That's the week, and Alabama is 7-point favorites. Would you make a pick on that?
Probably Alabama, but I don't know.
I would take
Huh?
Alabama. I think Alabama probably wins by double digits, to be honest with you. Texas didn't look great to me in their week 1 game. They won
Uh,
by, I think they only won by like 20. That was 27. They beat Rice, but I didn't think they looked fantastic. I'd take Bama. All right, ready to move on to some NFL, Peter?
NFL, yes, week 1.
Yes,
Matt,
football till
wake
the end
up.
of time.
Wake up. Wake up.
Matt, his return from his million vacations, I think. I hope. I haven't seen him yet.
Find out tomorrow.
We'll find out tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow when we ask him for the graphics. But all right, Peter. So without further ado, let's get into some discussion about week 1 in the NFL season. It's finally upon us. And I got a question for you, Peter. Is betting on week 1 in the NFL the hardest bet in sports?
Um, yes and no. I mean, hockey betting is probably the hardest one, maybe playoffs, but like probably because you're probably just so gung ho of last year how bad they were, like the Minnesota defense or the Broncos being a slogfest, and then obviously they don't adapt as well. So like they said, if like I don't know, if you're bad, just wait 3 weeks or something, or if you're really good, see them in 3 weeks. Is what were the Panthers like 5-2 or something like 2 years
Oh, with
ago?
Sam Darnold, yeah, and I was puffing my chest out, yeah, and then they
Yeah,
died.
and then they're like 6-10 or whatever at the end of the season.
The NFL is a marathon. It's not a sprint. and we're gonna overreact next week. Like I'm already ready for it. Like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
this team is we underrated them. Like just like we were doing about Colorado like 10 minutes ago. Like we're gonna do the same thing with other NFL teams, and we're gonna shit on other teams that we thought were gonna be good. They got upset, and that's just gonna how it's gonna go. But it is a difficult week in terms of like betting purposes because uh look, you have some teams that played their guys in preseason. You have some teams that didn't. There's some rust. There's some injuries. Like there's how are guys going to look in a different uniform? Like there's a lot of variables and new coaching hires. So look, I think it's more difficult betting a week 1 game than like a week 8 game because
Yeah,
then
I
I
looked
guess
at
you
the
have a sample
board
size.
and I only liked like 2 picks.
Like look, if you're betting later in the year, you get a sample size and you're like, okay, the Colts are coming off a short week and they've lost 2 games in a row and whatever. This is totally different. Everyone's clean slate, 0-0. Last year doesn't matter. Last week doesn't matter. Last month doesn't matter. It's all about right now. So that's what makes it, in my opinion, a little bit of a challenge. But we will do it as we always do, Peter. Before we give our picks here, what do you believe is the best matchup or something in general you're most looking forward to in this
Best
week?
matchup is probably the Packers or the Bears because everybody thinks the Bears are going to be good. Everybody thinks the Packers are going to suck. And then number 2, maybe Bills Jets, tied with the Dolphins Chargers.
So you nailed it for me. Bills Jets, in my opinion, that's number 1. That's an AFC East showdown. Monday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets at home. Place is going to be bananas. And that's going to be a wild game on Monday Night Football. That's number 1 for me. Number 2, if I had to go with one, this one's a little bit unorthodox, but Cowboys Giants. I know a lot of people are down about the Giants, but when these teams usually meet, it's usually great football. That's the Sunday Night Football game. I like that one. And then last but not least, I think this doesn't have to do with the game, but that's Tom Brady coming back to town
I
for
thought that
week
was going
one.
to be number 1 because you'll be there. So,
I will be there, and I will have a full scouting report for you next week, Peter.
yeah.
So I look forward to that. Those are the 3, in my opinion, that I'm looking forward to the most. Obviously, the Brady one is number 1, but for the listeners' purpose, like not everyone loves Tom Brady like us, so or
Oh,
me especially. So, uh, all right. So, how about week 1 storylines, Peter? Other than the Brady thing, what are some storylines, I guess, for this week 1 slate of games?
well, a little bit of injuries. I mean, Travis Kelce hurt his knee on Tuesday. If Joe Burrow's going to suit up, if the Browns are actually going to show up with Deshaun Watson's full first quote unquote healthy season, if the Cardinals are going to be as bad as everybody thinks, and then just prove it years for everybody that was terrible last year.
Yeah, I think you got some good ones. Number 1, in my opinion, is I'm gonna go back to the Jets. Is how is Aaron Rodgers going to look in this offense? Is he going to look comfortable? Is he going to be gelling with the young receivers? How is Aaron Rodgers look when things aren't going well? I think Aaron Rodgers is the number 1 storyline because, look, a lot of people think the Jets are going to be really good. A lot of people think they're overrated. So, I mean, feels like you're going one of 2 ways. It's either going to work out real well or it's going to end up in a shit show. So, I think the Jets are number 1 in my opinion. Everyone's going to be watching that game. Everybody wants to see are the Jets for real, and that's one in my opinion. Number 2 for me, you mentioned Deshaun Watson. I think that's a good one. How is he going to look in year 2 with Cleveland? He had a full off season. He was healthy. They're hosting the Bengals. Can they upset the Bengals? Joe Burrow's obviously not at 100% health. Last but not least for me is Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson and the Broncos are hosting the Vegas Raiders. And Russell Wilson, of course, has Sean Payton now as his head coach. Sean Payton, look, he's there to fix Russell Wilson. That is legitimately his number 1 job. And can he do it? Will he be able to get things going? And I honestly think it might take a little bit of time, but if he bounces back, then I think that'll be huge for the Broncos. If not, then it's trouble.
Remind ourselves not to overreact on the Broncos if they blow out the Raiders because the Raiders defense is absolutely terrible.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, I think the Raiders defense is better than last year, but yeah, I think you're right. It's going to be a little,
But if they do get blown, if the Raiders blow them out, oh, I'll steam ahead.
oh my gosh, if the Raiders blow them out, I'm going to be amped. Oh,
Broncos
Peter.
country, let's ride.
Oh my gosh. And
Sean
one
Payton
more,
will quit before week 5. Be like, yeah, this is a mistake.
one more. Geno Smith. I know no one wants to talk about Geno Smith, but can kind of repeat? Can he start the season as he did last year, where he, that week 1 game against the Broncos last year on Monday Night Football, he kicked ass. Is he going to be able to do that again? They're playing the Rams. I believe they're at home. And if is he for real? Can he validate the contract extension? Can he validate the Seahawks not drafting a quarterback early on? Can he be that guy for them? I'm not necessarily sold. So we'll have to see about that one. But those are some of my storylines. And Peter, I think you got some good ones too. And I'm ready. Are we ready for some picks?
Let's do it. Week 1,
LFG.
NFL picks. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Actually, before we do that, do you wanna pick our survivor picks?
Sure. I only had one with a bullet, so I have the Ravens.
The Ravens are also my survivor pick. So if we
Like,
both,
I didn't like any other survivor pick on this board.
I will give you a sleeper pick. Sleeper pick.
Don't say
Which
that. Don't say the Commanders because
that's the Commanders. That's the one.
no, that's disaster.
And the Jaguars isn't terrible either. They're playing the Colts.
I don't like
But
picking away teams though.
yeah, I don't either. But when you look at this, the Ravens are at home. They're hosting. First year head coach in D'Amico Ryan, first year quarterback and CJ Stroud, young position players all over the field. The Ravens, Lamar Jackson got his money. He's healthy. This should be an easy game for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. So if the Ravens lose, our survivor pool ends after 1 week.
Don't say that.
I mean, look, honestly, Peter, I'm looking at the board. Other than that, I would go Commanders, though. I know you just said no, but
Don't risk it. Yeah, I know. I don't like anybody or like the Seahawks because there's no.
I wouldn't touch that, though, personally. No,
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
touch
touch
it.
that either. Yeah, I know. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be the Vikings. I don't know. Bucks are probably gonna be bad.
Yeah, that's
Vikings.
not a terrible one either. So according to Vegas, the Ravens are 10-point favorites, so they would be the pick. Nobody else is that high of a favorite. So we'll see if me and Peter survive to next week. TBD. Didn't I get out like week 1 and you last, or was it vice versa?
I think it was the other way around. I think I got out on week 2 or something stupid. You lasted a
What's the
while.
goal?
18 weeks, so week 9, 8.
No shot. If we can get to week 6 as a win,
I think.
no shot. No shot.
To be fair, everyone should pick the Eagles, huh, to be honest.
We're not as good as Spider-Man. Shout out Spider-Man.
Yeah, facts. Go Vikings. Go Steelers, actually.
Yep. All right. So time for what everyone's been waiting for, our picks. So Peter, I think my picks kind of sucked last year with my record. So we got to make sure Matt clears out the records. I want 0-0.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be 0-0.
Okay. So you want me to start? Or do you want to start?
You can start. I'm gonna try to find our pick record.
Okay. Is what you find that I'm gonna give my first pick. And my first pick is I'm gonna go Cincinnati Bengals -2.5. The Bengals are going on the road to take on Deshaun Watson and the Browns. But look, Joe Burrow is healthy. And look, I think this Bengals team, they were my Super Bowl pick. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with offensively. I think the Bengals cover and they win by 10 points. I understand the kind of rule of thumb is you don't pick against in division games. You never pick the road team, but I'm doing it here. I just think the Browns have just a little bit ways to go, and the Bengals have had the number for the Browns lately, so I'm taking them. Bengals -2.5. And Peter, that is also going to be my premium pick of the week.
Oh my God, that's so bad. I'm coming around on the Browns, not gonna lie.
All right.
And not counting the postseason, but I was 41-40-3, and you were 33-45-1. Premium record of 5-12, and I was 7-7-1.
Damn, my premium record was ass. But Joe Burrow is going to get me a 1-0 for the premium record.
All right,
Bengals -2.5.
I'll start with Thursday. I got the Chiefs -5.5. I got it at 7. I'm an idiot, but I don't care if Travis Kelce hyperextended his knee. Kind of care about Chris Jones, but I mean, they probably should win by a lot. I think it's overinflated by the Lions hype all around. I just want to see how the Lions offense gels. And yeah, I'll be you and just pick every Thursday game until I get one right.
Yeah, good luck with that. My second pick of the week, I'm gonna go with an underdog here, a road underdog. I'm gonna go with the Tennessee Titans +3 against the New Orleans Saints. Oh, look, the Saints have gotten a lot of discussion this season. Adding Derek Carr, they're healthy, but look, they're missing Alvin Kamara. He's gonna miss the first 3 games of the season, so he's out. I think the Tennessee Titans, a lot of people think they're going to be really, really bad, but Mike Vrabel is a damn good coach. He's going to be competitive. He can win these low scoring, scrappy kind of games, which I'm kind of foreseeing for this game. So I think the Titans win +3. I think they probably win this game outright as well. I know Traylon Burks is likely going to be out, but I do think they're going to do enough defensively to win this game. I think it's going to be a slog, a low scoring game. I think the total for this game is 41. I'd probably
Yeah,
honestly lean under personally, but I like the Titans here +3 going into Caesars Superdome and getting a W. Titans
I
plus
love
three.
that pick.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I don't hate that. I think they're going outright as well. Second pick, I got the Jags -5. We kind of laid it out. Anthony Richardson for a start. I don't think he should start. And fun fact for you, Colts haven't won 9 straight season openers.
Wow. I'm going to tail you, Peter. I'm going Jags, like you just said, -5. I think the line should be more. I would think the line should be closer to 7 or at least 6. But I do think, look, I know the game is in Indianapolis. Jonathan Taylor is obviously out. He is a big, big, big part of that Colts offense. Rookie offensive play caller, rookie head coach, and rookie quarterback. It doesn't feel like it's a recipe for success. The Jaguars, of course, are coming off a great season under Doug Peterson. Trevor Lawrence was coming under his own. The Jaguars finished the season strong. They won 4 of their last 5 games. And of course, coming back in that playoff game, I remember I had the Jaguars, so I was happy. So the Jaguars won 5. Yeah, I mean, look, I think they win this game by a lot. I would take the Jaguars to win this game by 10 points. It's going to be a tough year for the Colts. I really believe that. So, like I just said, Jacksonville Jaguars -5 for my third pick.
Nice pick. Shout out to Spider-Man. Next pick, I got the Steelers +3. The 49ers are dealing with George Kittle's injury. It's doing another Brock Purdy. So everyone's gonna know if he's actually good or not. Because I think he's maybe is gonna get exposed here a little bit. They don't have Nick Bosa. And the Steelers defense, I think, can hold their own. So the Steelers +3 at home.
I'm tailing you again, Peter. I love the Steelers +3. This was almost my premium pick of the week, to be honest with you.
Me too.
This is a great spot for the Steelers. I love it. Brock Purdy coming back off that major offseason surgery. Nick Bosa's out, like you mentioned. And Kittle, he's banged up and he looks like he might miss the game due to a groin injury. Look, that's a cross-country flight from San Fran to Pittsburgh. Heinz Field's going to be nuts. It's not even called Heinz Field anymore, right? Now they changed the name, whatever.
Whatever.
But look, and I like the Steelers this year. I picked them for the over for their win total. I think they can win 9 games. I love Kenny Pickett. I think he's somebody people sort of sleep on. I love the receivers they have there with Deontay Johnson. And look, I think Najee Harris might have a little bit of a bounce back year. So I like the Steelers team. I really do. I like them here at +3. I love it. This was almost my premium pick of the week.
Me too, man. Me too.
I didn't have the balls to do it. And the 49ers they've also had to deal with kind of the after effects of the whole Trey Lance thing. I know that's more of a Kyle Shanahan thing, but this is a very good matchup for the Steelers. Love
All
this.
right, mark this on your calendar. I have the Chargers -3. Caveat, if the Chargers lose outright to the stupid Tua and the Dolphins, even though I have a Tua comeback player and Dolphins division bet, like I'm never betting on the Chargers until the playoffs start. But they have Billy Bosa. I don't think the Dolphins O-line is going to be ready for their defensive line. And the Chargers are fully healthy. Pick them early because like Bosa's going to be out, and then Mike Williams will be out, and then whatchamacallit. Oh my God, the safety. That's always hurt.
Oh,
Derwin James is always going to be
Derwin
hurt.
James, yeah. Mhm.
Oh, who knows? But yeah, I
I
mean, Chargers go back to the well, and Tua sucks. Matthew.
well, Matt. So tell you what, my fifth pick, I liked 6 I liked 6 picks. I have a feeling we have the same one for the last pick. So I'm gonna let you go first. I'm gonna let you go back to back so we don't overlap here.
Our premium pick of the week is the Packers +1.
I knew you
I
were
don't
gonna do
even
that.
care if it's not on the road. I want to see how good Justin Fields is. I don't believe in him at all. All the hype is around Jordan Love too, and usually the Packers destroy the Bears. I know that's with Aaron Rodgers, but just take out Aaron Rodgers. I don't think Justin Fields is a good passer. You can run for like 200 yards. I don't care.
Peter, I love that. And that's another one that I highly, highly almost did, but I was stuck between 5 and 6. So you're gonna roll with that. I'm gonna roll with this. I'm gonna take the Buffalo Bills -2.5 on Monday Night Football against the Jets. I do think the Jets are going to be off to a slow start. We talked about it. They have a really rough schedule. And the early part of the year, I think they're going to try to figure out some things with their offense. A lot of different guys are new. Of course, Aaron Rodgers, but even a lot of the skill position players, Allen Lazard, Becton's back at tackle. I do think it's going to be a little bit of a musical chairs in the offensive line. I like the Bills here. The Bills have they're in a situation where I felt like people were sort of underrating them. And I like them in this matchup. I think they win. I wouldn't say convincingly, but I think they win by a touchdown. I like them here
I
minus
think
2.5.
that as the under at 46.5. I think their O-lines, both of them suck.
So you would
That
take the
whole
under.
AFC East is terrible. O-lines.
Mm. So
Wait,
that's
what
our
was your
picks, Peter.
other one?
The Packers would have been my sixth.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I figured you were gonna do that, so we already overlapped on 2. I didn't want to overlap with 3, so
Yeah, I almost picked the Eagles at -4 or something, but I don't want to root against the Patriots week 1. I almost did that too.
I'm shocked the line is only 4. That's another one where it should be
Yeah,
like
that's
6.
way higher.
Yep. But I think there's a stat where I guess like if you lost the Super Bowl and coming off of week 1, you're like 2-14 against the spread or something.
I thought.
Yeah, I saw that it's somewhere that if a team lost in the Super Bowl, their week 1 game the following season, they're like I said, they're like 2-14 against the spread.
Find out what the closing line is too. I think like only like 6 times in Patrick Mahomes' career he's not a touchdown or more favorite
Really?
when he starts. Yeah.
Huh. That's an interesting one. And I mean, look, the Chiefs, they're hosting the Detroit Lions. Even with Kelsey's out, I agree with you. I do think the Chiefs take care of business. So, Peter, will we be 10-0?
10-0.
We
Yeah,
technically can be.
10-0.
We technically can be because we don't have any opposites this week. So I'm pumped. Again, my premium pick, Bengals minus 2.5. Peter is, of course, going with his Green Bay Packers at +1, right?
Yeah.
And look, that's another big game for. I think it's a bigger game for the Bears and the Packers, to be honest with you, because the Bears are coming in with a lot of hype. But yeah, I'm pumped for week 1. I'm excited to come back here and record with you next week with overreacting and saying this team or this player sucks and we underrated these guys and yada yada yada. So I'm looking forward to that. And I hope we're not 0-10. I'd be very upset by that.
If we're all in time, I'm quitting the podcast.
I would be very, very upset with that. The chances of us being 0-10, they seem pretty small, to be honest.
Good luck in fantasy football.
Oh yes, and good luck to you in fantasy football. Who do you have in XFL?
I have Noah with no Jonathan Taylor.
And I have you in the Dynasty League, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Good. That should be an interesting one, Peter. Best of luck to that. And everybody enjoy the football. Oh yeah, and it's time for 5 questions. I forgot about that. How could I forget that?
About football.
Yes.
Because we're going to talk about football for like 24 weeks. And I'll get annoyed. All right, question 1. Are you going to watch The Walking Dead on Sunday?
Yeah,
That was
I'm not gonna watch it. There's football on. I'm going to the game.
No, you watch on an illegal website at like 9 in the morning before the pregame starts. That's what I'm doing.
That's what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. No, so the answer to the question is no. I am looking. So I'm watching Suits right now, like everybody else in America. I'm on season 9. It's fantastic. I don't know if you've seen it. So I am looking for a new show once I'm done with it.
Question 2. All right, then what is your favorite show? I don't even know. Is that Rick and Morty? Maybe I do know.
No, it's definitely not. Nope.
Oh.
My favorite show, I think The Boys was really, really well done. That's up there for me. I like the Star Wars shows, like The Mandalorian, that sort of thing. I think Suits is right up there for me as well. Sopranos, I'd categorize all those.
Oh, I want to do football so bad. Question 3. All right, this is about fantasy football.
Okay.
Do you like Dynasty or regular leagues better? I'm
I
coming
pref-
around on Dynasty. I really am.
I prefer I like Dynasty. I've been in one for like 4 or 5 years now. I've been in the one we're in for a couple years now. I do like Dynasty, but no, I prefer I prefer the regular sort of fantasy football thing. I enjoy the draft. I enjoy getting together the board. Like I like all that stuff to me.
And 4, what is your favorite song?
Favorite song. Congratulations by Post Malone.
Well, that'll be on our wedding playlist. There you go.
Yeah.
And question 5, what's your favorite type of cake? Because I couldn't care less.
you just are you like surveying people? Was I the first person in the survey? So I would
Well,
go.
I hate
What's
cake.
is marble like half vanilla, half chocolate?
Yeah, it's vanilla with like chocolate inside.
Yeah, I like the marble.
That's
I
not
go with the
bad either.
marble
I don't know.
because then
Yeah,
you appease
I am
everybody.
serving people.
I because then
I'll
you
say
appease
fuck off.
everybody.
I'll say screw all of you and just
What's your
make
favorite kind of cake?
I hate cake.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like cake.
Yeah, but if it's someone's birthday, you have to have it. You got
Yeah,
to do it.
vanilla probably. Or
Yeah,
that
everyone
works.
likes vanilla.
Too much
You know,
chocolate.
get watch out for allergies.
Sure. Got any allergies? No, I'm just kidding.
I do not have any food
Yeah.
allergies. Feed me
Give it
whatever you
up.
want, Peter. But
That's your first.
thank you for 5 questions. I hope I helped you in your little survey. Next week we will recap week 1, the NFL season. We'll preview week 2. We'll see how we did. We'll see if we're alive in Survivor, or if we went 10-0 or 0-10. But either way, we will be there and fill everybody in. So catch you next week, Peter.
Have a great NFL week 1. Tua sucks. Boo Dolphins. Boo Dolphins. Stay hot.